If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe, and also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Welcome to Skiba News Nation, bringing you unfiltered views, news, interviews, discussions, and more. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Skiba, award-winning musician and son of Rob Skiba.
With the son of the legendary Rob Skiba, Jeremiah Skiba, what's up?
With my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Graham.
Dude, so much you do conspiracy news. It would be 10 times better than what you see on television.
It's like I don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.
Hey, Skiba News Nation family. Today we have a very special guest, and no, it is not Charlie. Even specialer. We've had him on before, and he was an amazing speaker at TrutherCon, probably one of my favorite speakers there at the event. We'll see you later, Charlie. But anyways, Josh Keefe from Founded Earth Brothers, and he does a lot of teaching, and I'm happy that my teacher here gets to have some conversation with them. So welcome, Josh.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, man. I'm still like, I've got this extra, I guess, like energy just from all the good, great things that happened at TrutherCon, all the people we met, just the spirit moving in that place. It was peaceful. Like, getting up there and speaking in front of people, you know, I'm always terrified about public speaking, but the people there, there was no fear at all. It was like the spirit was there. Our Father his presence was there, and it was just good, humble, truth-seeking people. And so I had a blast, and it was a major blessing. I'm already looking forward to going back next year and having that fun road trip. It was quite the experience, way better than I could have imagined, and I imagined it being pretty good, but you guys, with the help from your wife, when you come in the door, she's right there, kind of like I have my wife, you know, taking care of all the hard stuff while I do the easy stuff. And so you had your wife there, who I'm finding out is a teacher. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
What a blessing that is.
And let me tell you how funny this is. So I'm dyslexic, and I'm on the spectrum, right? And I hated school so much as a child. I hated school. I never wanted to go. I would get upset when my mom would make me go to school, and she would always take me out early, which I was very thankful for. And then I married a teacher, which is kind of ironic, but it's kind of awesome because, you know, she's awesome.
He even said last night, he was like, I just needed one good teacher, and it was you. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like the best compliment you can give someone.
I mean, she teaches me things every day. It's amazing. And, you know, I think the world, they don't value teachers as they should be valued. Teachers like her, I mean, I know how hard she works. I know that you know what that's like. And
yeah, it's life-changing. I remember, because it's weird, I remember like almost every day of my life when I look back at my childhood, especially in school, my very early memories, and they were of sheer horror because I had a bad teacher experience, you know, the first couple years, and it wasn't until, you know, second grade where I had a really good teacher, you know. And so it was, you remember that, and the bad ones, they will leave this, I guess, memory in your mind when you get to school that you're going to not be good enough for them. You know, when they roll their eyes, when you're stuttering, when you're trying to read or whatever it is, they can do some things that permanently damage your confidence. And so it's good to have these great teachers that build people up and give them good examples, because there's not a lot out in social media. That's what our kids are going to. They go to the teachers, they have a good influence, and then they go to social media, all these bad influences, and then they come back. And you're trying to undo all of the bad influences and indoctrination and false science. It's a battle. It's a big battle. And so it is good to have believers that are in the classroom. That is such a weapon. We need more believers in the classroom, or, kind of doing what we're doing, stepping out of the classroom and creating stuff that's going to be used to combat the lies that they will receive in the classroom from non-believers or believers who are just following the script, which is dangerous.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, just on the TrutherCon subject, like, was there a moment that was like your favorite moment, like, or like a speaker that I don't know, just what was your favorite part about it, I guess?
Oh, my favorite part. It's hard to pinpoint a specific part, but just, I think, like, usually when I've been to conferences, or like, in education, they always send you to these conferences and they have speakers and all these things. Everything just seems disconnected. It's like you're the audience, there's a speaker. This felt like we could just all come together, hang out, and then we would separate and there's a speaker, and then when the speaker's done, we all come back together and we hang out, we talk to the speaker, we shake hands with the speakers. Like, there's no, you're down here on the bottom and the speakers are way up here. It was like we're all one big truther family. And I think that was kind of what was the best part about it for me, was feeling like we're here with family and nobody's above anybody. Nobody acted like that. It was very humble and just done well, welcoming right at the door. And even the people that ran the place that you rented were really good. I could tell they were professionals and had done that. I guess they do it for a living, but yeah, it was just really well. Really, I guess, really, you feel at home there. I didn't feel like I was a foreigner in a strange land. I felt like I was, like I was right at home. You walk right in, and it's like, here you are. Well, we're all at this family gathering.
I will say I've had those experiences, like what you're talking about, when people are, I call it big leaguing. Like when somebody acts like they're better than you, or that, and it happened early when we were doing Skiba News Nation. I won't name any names, but I guarantee you know who he is. I'll say it off camera maybe. But yeah, I definitely know what that's like, and I don't ever want anybody to ever feel that way. So I mean, we went out of our way to make sure everybody was welcome, and I feel like I just know you. Like it's so crazy. Like I feel like I've known you my whole life, and I said that about everybody. It's just so strange.
There's a connection, like in the room, and kind of like what you said earlier, that the spirit was there. We were so stressed the week up to the event, and then as soon as the day happened, it was like peaceful. Like I wasn't stressed. Everything fell into place. We were just rolling with it, and like I was calm and peace throughout it. And I know that was because the spirit was there, and I know that it was a spirit that connected us all. And we intentionally did try to make it where very grassroots, and that there wasn't a separation between the speaker and the guests, that the guests had a voice, that they could ask questions. And I'm glad that came across, and we hope to keep that up.
Who likes an echo chamber? Like, who likes just to hear yes all the time? Like, I rewatched my presentation because Jake edited it today, and I was watching back through it, and some of the questions I didn't really like I didn't agree with, but they're good points and make me want to look into those things. And that's what it's all about. Like, I learned more from you guys, you other speakers, than I did from all of my research, which was humbling. And this is something that my parents always wanted to do, and it's a blessing to be able to finally do something like this in their honor with the Skiba name. And yeah, dude, I'm just so glad that you're a part of it, and you'll be a part of it next year. Hopefully your brother attends it next year.
Yeah, I've talked him into it. He realizes he missed out big time now. He was supposed to go. It was going to be 4 of us riding up. Ended up being 2 of us.
Who did you come down with? Mikey?
I rode with, me and Mikey Jenny. That was quite the road trip. Him and his gas-efficient Prius. I think, my goodness, we saved so much money in that thing. In my van, my wife's van, I should say, it would have been quite the expense. But with his, it was like we filled up one time on the way there, and I was like, I guess that's it. And yes, it's quite the journey getting to talk. I almost lost my voice. I was afraid because we were talking about so many things. Me and him getting caught up, and of course his research and what I've been looking into, and I was starting to lose my voice in the evening, and I was like, okay, I got to tone it down because I want to be able to speak when I get to the conference.
I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I bet you there was some really good conversation though that happened
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
You
I
should
thought,
just
man,
put
it's
up a
always
little
off air.
webcam. Yeah, and recorded that. I bet some people would pay some money to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have recorded the whole ride. I mean, how many hours? I think it was 15 hours to get there because he drives the speed limit or slower, and so it takes about 12 hours regular. So he was trying to be careful. He didn't want to get pulled over. So I understand. But my wife was driving. We'd have got there in about 9 hours. So yeah, big difference.
That's like how I drive. So for those of our audience who may not be familiar with you or might be, learning about you for the first time, can you tell them, a little bit about your backstory and who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'll try to summarize it real fast. I'm a twin, and that's where like a big part of my testimony is I had a twin brother along the way who we went through a lot of things together, and our father led us all eventually to his truth, both of us to his truth. But we made it through college, made it through, both of us became teachers. I hated school. Like you're saying, you hate school. I absolutely hated it. I struggled. I had learning challenges, not disabilities, as I don't like the word disability. We have learning challenges. We have all of us learning abilities, and our Father has designed us to be able to learn more and basically grow from where we're at. And so a lot of people judge their future abilities by their current abilities, and he brought me so far, from a first grader who was like the slowest reader in my class to where I'm finally in college and barely getting into college, barely getting out of high school, going to summer school, night school, all those things. I was actually focusing on sports. That's what helped me get into college. I wanted to wrestle in college, and I feel like that was a godsend because it got me into college, and then I got into teaching so that I could coach, and he used that desire to help me fall in love with teaching. And then from there, it was quite the journey because then it was like, man, coaching was kind of like a distant thought. Now I'm focused on teaching, and here I am having these miracles happen that make me question absolutely everything that we're being taught. Mainstream Christianity, some of their teachings, science, obviously, so many of their teachings, with the big one being evolution, because I became a biology teacher, and my twin brother was a math teacher, and he says, have you ever looked into all the hoaxes of evolution? Because I was just getting into it back in like 2014. And I said, no, I haven't really dove too deep into it. I just know it's a lie. And that was a start of an investigation that led to just an abundance of proof that evolution is a lie. It's demonic. Its foundation is demonic. The people who created it are all in the same secret societies. That was why I presented on that, because I thought people don't see that. And they all come from the same clubs at the same time, those that keep secret counsel, like it talks about in the Bible. And so I was into that research when our Father woke me up to biblical cosmology, thanks to one of his humble servants, Rob Skiba, who was putting his reputation on the line and talking about these things. Biblical cosmology, something that we were all missing, something that I was too prideful to even look into before I saw him talking about it, because I thought this is the dumbest thing. I see comments here and there, somebody's saying satellites aren't real, and somebody says this, but these people are probably on drugs, and they're just too stoned to fall for any conspiracy out there, and so I'm not even going to look into it. But when I heard your dad talking about it, I was like, man, this guy's smart. I need to look into this. I need to listen to what he's saying. Just click on the video. And so I clicked on it, and sure enough, the Holy Spirit said, this is the truth, look into it. And I did, and it has been a journey from there. I think that the things we're missing out on for not believing that the Bible is 100% true from cover to cover really robs us of growth in our spiritual walk and education, all these different avenues. And so it's important that we give this generation now, while there's time, I feel like we're running out of time, a strong foundation. And so he called us out, further out of Babylon. You're taking these little steps, and he called us further out. And so now we're doing online classes worldwide with true soldiers everywhere, that where it's legal. I say everywhere worldwide. It's only legal in like a handful of countries. Like there's so many places where it's illegal when you look at a world map to teach your own children from home. It's illegal.
That's crazy.
And so
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah, it's good to know, because I thought, man, we're going to have so many people that can join us from everywhere. And I was like, wow, we only have this handful of countries joining us: Canada, Australia, some places in South Africa, and the UK. You have places that we're getting students from, and the rest of the map's blank. And when I started when I pulled up a map of where it's illegal, it matched where our students are coming from. The legal aspect of it did. So it was like, wow, where we don't have anyone, that's where it's illegal. Except for this year, we had a rebel parent say, it's illegal to homeschool, but I'm going to join your program and I'm going to teach it to my kids outside of school, because we're going to give them a foundation. Even if they're being force-fed Babylonian nonsense, we're going to step out of Babylon and give them something. And so that's better than nothing. You're doing the best you can do where you're at in this worldwide dispersion before the gathering together. And so it is definitely a blessing to have, teachers out there that are believers, that are still in the classroom. And if they do decide to go out and, conquer the lies, it does help, but it also helps to have believers in the classroom protecting the ones that they can, but we can only do so many. I could only do at maximum like 120 students per year that I could protect from the lies of evolution. But there's other students in my school that are being lied to. There's billions of children worldwide that are being lied to. And so we have to have something to attack their lies, and the truth and real science and bringing it to their homes is one of the best things I think we can do now.
So how can parents find your work?
The best place is creationstandard.com, our website. We have all of our classes that can be registered for. Everything's recorded, so if you join late, you can still get access to all the old lessons that we had starting. We began this year a little late because my wife had a baby. We started in September, and so all the way back to September and October, we have all those lessons recorded, and so people can join at any time, go at their own rate, join us live. That's where the fun's at, where you get to join other people. And it can be lonely. Some of these people that join us, they feel so alone. They feel like we're the only people that believe the way we do, and our friends think we're crazy, or the people that are near us, all the people of this world just think they're so crazy. And it feels like a blessing to them to join in and have other people to talk to, like we did at the conference, that are crazy like us. They can go, yep. Oh wow, you're crazy, me too, let's talk about how crazy we are. And the stuff we say just makes sense, even though it sounds crazy to the rest of the world. And so it's one thing that people can find us there, and send us emails. My wife is my secretary right now. She's a really good one. When I tried doing her work after she had the baby, I was dropping the ball. I was getting all these emails and I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know how she did this last year, because it was me and her both working together. And starting a school is no easy adventure. I'm not an administrator. I've never been an administrator. And then all of a sudden you're a superintendent, administrator, teacher, all these different things. And the Father blessed me, like he did you, Jeremiah, with a good wife who is just smart, knows math. She's a math teacher. And
she's done it all.
I'm not a math brain person.
Yeah, she's done it all.
I can do anything I put my mind to. I truly believe that. Anything I can figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
you teach 5th grade and below, is that right? You said 5th grade?
Kindergarten through 5th grade, so all elementary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so recently, this is kind of an interesting fact, the state of Texas passed a law where they have to post the 10 Commandments in our classrooms. And there's a lot of stipulations, like it has to be donated by a church, and it has to be a specific color, and it has to be in the King James version, all this stuff.
Wow.
And so we got some donated on my campus, and so we had to put them up, and it was very eye-opening and shocking. You talk about feeling alone. I felt very alone because, I get this poster with the 10 Commandments on it. Where do I put it? In the middle of my board, in the middle of my room. Like, this is my law, right? I can't hide my God. I'm not going to hide it behind the trash can, behind the Chromebook cart, which is what a lot of teachers in my school did. I mean, yes, there are some issues with like separation of church and state, and I don't want the state to try to dictate how I worship. I get that. I get that issue. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I'm not going to hide my God. That's just giving into 666, in the same, the equivalent in my brain. But having teachers who claim to be Christians in my school hiding this poster the best that they can, behind the door, behind the whatever, but then yet they claim to be Christian, it's heartbreaking. I'm like, you're either a lukewarm Christian, you don't even know what being a Christian means. It's been so sad seeing it. But yeah, definitely feeling alone. And I see all these TikTok videos of all these teachers, liberal teachers, And I'm like, they're not like that. They're real. I promise the teachers in my school are not like that. And then when this Ten Commandments thing happened, I was really shocked.
Yes. Yeah, that's a big one. And that's what one of the things that it reminds me of is Isaiah 29 that I was talking about at the conference, where, basically they honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me, and they're teaching the commandments and doctrines of men. And you don't realize that with these so-called Christians that are like you're saying, these coworkers who are like praying for you, prayer hand emojis all the time, and they're always praying for everybody and loving everybody. But then it comes time to teach something that aligns with our Father or the world, and they pick the world, and it is heartbreaking. And I saw that in my science department. We didn't have the Ten Commandments. That would have been an interesting thing to witness, the Ten Commandments coming in, because I would be excited about that. And I do know, there would be a lot of people who, like, they'll outwardly fly a rainbow flag on their classroom door, but you put the Ten Commandments in there, they're like, new separation of church and state. But I'm like, you're doing things that are against what we believe, against our commandments, against Genesis in every science class. That is not a separation of church and state, because now you're bringing in the satanic religion and putting it in the classroom, and nobody combats that hardly. It's very rare to find a teacher who says, yes, that's in the standards, but I don't agree with it. I'm going to teach against it. They always go, well, my job's on the line here. I don't agree with that. And I've heard teachers say that in the classroom while they're teaching. This is what they say about evolution. I don't believe it, but I'm going to teach it. And they will teach it even after they tell the kids they don't believe it, and they'll teach it just as every other teacher would. And so I think that's wrong. And I do believe that, a lot of people, when they hear you're a science teacher, they're like, oh, you did, you taught them evolution, you did all that. No, we taught evolution, but we taught it the right way. And the right way is to just totally, utterly destroy the nonsense of evolution and do it peacefully. Don't make fun of anybody. Show them the new evidence that supports a young earth and creation and all of that. And then say, this is what the people who believe in evolution teach. Here's where it came from. And it's very scary to watch these people who honor him with their mouth, but not with their actions, hiding the Ten Commandments. That's crazy. I could not imagine. But I guess I could imagine, because I saw that sort of aspect with the pandemic and all those things happening, that teachers their true colors were starting to show, and it was dark.
At TrutherCon, I looked at one of the books that you had, one of the curriculum books that you had, and what I really liked about it was that you teach in the book like what the curriculum or what like a public school would teach you, or what the Babylonian world is wanting you to believe, and then what is real and what the Bible says. And I like that you kind of have juxtaposed those two things next to one another so that students can learn and think for themselves. My big thing as a teacher is not to teach kids what to think, but how to think. And so you present these two opposing views of, this is what the world wants you to think, this is what God wants you to think. Like, you make your choice, right? Which one actually really makes sense.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. One of our first units, I think it's our second unit, is what the Word says versus what the world says, because we start out, of course, looking at Genesis and going through that and letting them build their own conclusions and their own images based on what they read, and then we compare the two. And it's a night and day contrast. There's not like, oh, we can kind of merge this here. It's like, this is clear, this is what it says, here's what the world says. And then that's our foundation. We test that out. We go, here's what the world says. They say that rockets are going here, let's test that out. They say the Coriolis effect does this, let's test this out. Let's look at tides on the earth. And I've learned more in this last year than I've learned in all my years as an educator, simply because we've been doing that. And I'm not just handed this one script that says, this is what you got to teach, standard A, this. And then it's like, everything is so repetitive. We use the same videos every year. We find the same printouts every year. And then we'll spice things up a little bit and add a new thing here or there. But it's always the same exact wording. And it's not just evolution that's a lie. That was where I've been blown away this past year. Is I was so focused on evolution, I didn't see that DNA was a lie, the way we teach it. I didn't see that so many other things in history are a lie. Things like Christopher Columbus, his story and how that transpired. So many different things outside of the evolution and space narrative. Those things seem like two big ones, but there's far more, and it's all designed to take away glory from our Creator. And I'm guilty of teaching the lies. When I would teach about DNA and say it's like computer code, that's a lie. I didn't know it. That's just what I was taught, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. It's like computer code, and it's nothing like computer code. There is no technology. I had to actually delete a video I did right before I left for the conference because I said that a cubic millimeter of DNA is like 1,000 terabytes. Well, you look at information now, because this is information from a while back. Now they're saying, okay, no, that's wrong. It's more like 1,000,000 terabytes per cubic millimeter. And if you amplify that to your whole body, they don't have data centers in existence with all of them combined that could house as much data as our bodies. And it's not even housed the way a computer houses it. You can look at computer code and tell what it's going to do. With genetic code, we haven't even mapped out the human genome like they say we have. You know, the Human Genome Project, I thought we mapped out the human genome, and it's like, no, we didn't map that out. Don't go to the NIH website because they'll tell you that. They're like, no, we didn't map it out. Certain parts were too complex to map out, so they couldn't map it out. And so there's so many different falsities. And they found out with the Human Genome Project that the central dogma of biology, that DNA makes RNA and makes proteins, is false. That's a lie. And like they found that out back when like Bill Clinton was in office. That's how long ago it was. You know, like none of my students were alive when he was here, you know, when he was president. And yet I'm teaching stuff that was from way back then, outdated. And it's the same with evolution. And so, yeah, it's time for a change. And if they're not going to change the system we're in, and that's one of the battles I'm facing, or was thinking about facing, and, you know, going and putting up a fuss because they're putting outdated evolution information in our tests and pictures that are false and provenly false. Like, if they're not going to take those out and we can't battle it, then we need to find a way to battle it outside of their classrooms. And so that's what I'm trying to do right now is create that battles the lies so well that we could go to court and we could win. You know, that's what I want to do. I don't want it to be, here's what the Bible says and we're going to believe it. Next chapter, you know, it's like, here's what the Bible says, here's proof. Here's what it says about this event, here's proof. And so far, the proofs have been piling up way too fast. I mean, that's been the blessing of it, is the proofs piling in. And like you were saying with the stress you had right before the conference, that's the kind of like last year, the stress I had with doing all this stuff. The blessing would be the peace I had when I was with the students, and then the information he was giving us, like the proofs of creation. It was like an overload. I felt like we couldn't even contain all the information. So I'm still trying to put it all in books, and I don't even think I can. Like, it's going to take a while to get everything in books. We only got one book so far. We need 3 more. And my brother is also working. He's doing alongside what I'm doing. He stepped out this year. First time he's done it. So he had an extra year of teaching on me. So he was almost 19 years in the classroom. And now he's doing what I'm doing. And it's scary. He's like, and this is scary. You step away from that steady paycheck, even though it's not a lot. I mean, teachers, we were like low paid actors, like I said. And yeah, it's scary stepping away from the low paid actor role, because now you're in a role where it's like, what's next? What am I going to do? And the Father's like, here, I'll provide for you. So that's the blessing of it all.
And I'm looking for that courage. I will definitely say that's kind of the main reason that's like holding me back from kind of doing the same thing and wanting to kind of figure out where, you know, God wants to lead me next, because I'm not sure that it's in a public school classroom anymore for the same reasons we're talking about. So yeah. What helped you like make that big jump? I mean, was it just the voice of God just told you got to do it?
It was witnessing. And when I got placed in a role where I was teaching in a science class with other teachers, it was the most eye-opening moment, because I was in my class with my kids. I could control the instruction. I could say, here's a good debunk of evolution, and it was great. And my kids were so excited. And when I was doing it that way, my evolution test scores, it caught me off guard, because we go to these meetings and we talk about data. Like, how's your test scores? I hate these meetings, but you talk about data and how your kids are performing, and it's very invasive because everybody can see your test scores. And so like some teachers, they get terrified about upcoming tests because they're like, I don't think my kids are ready, and everybody's going to see my data. As soon as they take the test, other teachers can see, oh, his kids didn't do so good, or her kids didn't do so well. And so nobody looks forward to those meetings. And we just had our evolution test, and I was totally destroying evolution with my lectures. But the kids were fascinated. Their eyes were getting big when they're finding out about soft tissue on dinosaurs. They're like, "Whoa, this is cool," you know. And so they were having fun and learning about irreducible complexity and all these things. Well, we get to the meeting, and I sit down, And all the teachers go, so Mr. Keefe, can you tell me what you did to get such good test scores? And I'm like, I got nervous. I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, your test scores were out the roof. Like, they were so good. And I'm like, oh no, like, no. I would have rather bombed the test, because now I'm like, now everybody's looking at me asking for my teaching and strategies. And I said, I just focused really hard on the evidence, like we did. We
the real stuff. Yeah.
And so, not evidence for evolution. We looked at their false evidence, and we looked at it more closely. And so that right there was fun. But then I got put in the classroom with other teachers, and they would show like a cartoon computer animation of the false missing link, Lucy, and go, that's your ancestors. There they are. That's where you come from. And just seeing these little children nod their heads to those lies. And I'm trying to be peaceful. I'm trying not to get fired. I'm like, do I speak out? Do I yell? Do I make a scene? Do I start flipping tables? What do? I want to flip tables. And I'm like, I'm angry. And I just kept praying, like, give me time alone to focus with these children, to where there's no witnesses, where I can just teach and give them an evolution lesson. And it was like during our evolution unit, it was just like divine. All the teachers were like, we're going to this conference, and you're the one staying back to watch the kids and cover our classes for us. And we'll give you the lesson. It's pre-made evolution. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. I'm going to teach a little evolution unit. So I didn't teach what they said. I did my own lesson and brought it in. And I had a blast. And those children were just blown away. They had so much fun. And then I would be like, okay, here's what they had for you right here. Here's these papers. Here's these handouts here. Take these real quick before the bell rings. And so it was a fun experience there. But it made me so angry seeing that we're so helpless with all these other children, and I can't go into every classroom. And I was like, I've got to do something. I don't know what. And so I started thinking of creating something like this that I could do on the side, because I'm like, there's no way I could do it for a living. And I got another job at another school because I wanted to get out of that situation. I couldn't be in the classroom with another teacher listening to that sadness. I mean, it just breaks my heart. It makes me think of that verse about it's better that a millstone be tied around their neck, and then sinking down in the water. I was like, yeah, it would definitely be better for them, for that to happen, than to be a false teacher to these precious children. And I had been praying for discernment. What do I need to do? Do I create this and do it on the side? And I was thinking I was going to do it on the side, but I kept feeling led, like, you won't have the time. You're going to be teaching, you're preparing, and you know how much time there is when you're a teacher. You don't have the energy when you come home to do anything. Like, I come home and I'm just zapped. I lay down and pass out.
Yeah.
You don't want to be messed with. You're like, let me lay back.
And I was doing TrutherCon all this past year too, while being a teacher.
Yeah.
So
she I mean, like I said, it wouldn't have been able to. There wouldn't be a conference if it wasn't for her. And then she was also teaching at the same time. So
what a blessing. That is. It's a different type of energy drain. It's not like running a marathon. It's almost harder. Like, I've done hard workouts in college and things where you train 5 hours a day and you think, man, that's the hardest thing I'll ever do. And then you teach and you're like, this is more draining and this is more challenging than those days. I never would have thought that. But so it is hard to find the energy. And I tried doing it on the side a little bit, and I couldn't do it. And I was like, I need to devote full time. And I was terrified. I sat here and in agony, and usually 3 or 4 in the morning is when that fear comes in and goes, you're crazy, don't step away, sign your contract, sign on the dotted line, keep what's cozy. And and I was so conflicted. I was about 2 or 3 days away from the deadline to sign my contract. Loved where I was at. I was at a new environment. It was very laid back. They were humble, awesome country folks, and I was just like, man, this is a dream job. I'm teaching life science to 7th graders now. I'm not in the high school. It's not as high stress, and it's perfect. I could do this until I retire. And I felt led to step out, and I prayed about it, and I learned how to pray better at that moment, because my prayer was, what's best for me. I want to do what's best for me. How is this going? And my thoughts were always, how is this going to affect me? How is this going to affect me? And we're just geared that way. We want to make sure our family's taken care of. I have 6 children, 5 of which still live here with me, and so it's like, how is this going to affect all these children that I have? My wife, who has built our dream home. What if we lose this dream home that she designed on a piece of notebook paper? Like, what's going to happen, And the fear kept kicking in. And finally, while I'm sitting here praying about it and having that fear and anxiety, I had this, it was just like spirit guidance of saying, the Holy Spirit's like, how is this going to affect you? Like, not how is it going to affect me? How is it going to affect you? What I do, whether I sign or whether I don't sign. And it was like a no-brainer. It was like, if you sign, you're not going to affect him as much as if you step away. And so I was like, man, that. And my mother-in-law came to me right after that. Right after I had that moment, she came to me and was talking to me about it because she knew I was conflicted and terrified. And she said, do you feel peace about your decision to not sign your contract? And I said, yes. And she goes, but do you feel fear? And I said, yes. And she goes, where do you think the fear is coming from? Because it's not from Father. And I was like, you are absolutely right. And when she said that, I was like, I'm not going to sign my contract. And I went in the next day, the contract was there, and I looked at it and I was like, I emailed my administrators. I said, I love you guys. I absolutely love you guys. You guys are the best, but I can't come back. I'm going to step out and do ministry full time. And that's where that everything changed. From then on, I was never a, 10 month out of the year teacher. I was 12 months, 6 days a week working. And it's been the hardest work of my life. And I think you can relate to that now with this conference and teaching. It's the hardest work, but it's so rewarding. Like, the rewards from what you did are echoing for eternity, kind of sound like that Roman movie, but not trying to sound like what's his name? Maximus echoes in eternity. But yeah, it does have this ripple effect that brings people closer to our Father, and they saw things. I know people there, their mouths were opening with some of these presentations. Like, I was watching their mouths open and they're looking at their husbands and wives going like, can you believe this stuff? And it's like, wow, I was the same way, like, especially like Mikey Jenny when he was presenting. I'm his friend. I've had him on and I've talked to him, but seeing these people in person breaking down their best stuff, it's like, it's powerful, and it creates some stronger foundation for believers in the room. So that's why, I mean, you can see with that it's worth it. And so stepping out of teaching, it's going to be harder if you were to do that, if you were led to do that, but go with where the Spirit leads you, because he might need you there for a few other people. And then, okay, now you've served these people, now step out. It's always try to be very discerning of what he's telling us to do, and not just do something rash, because sometimes we can do something because we want to do it. And for me personally, it would be way easier for me to go back into the classroom. It would be the easy thing to do if I went, well, I want to go back now. But I feel like there's more to be done. I don't know how long he's going to have me here doing this, but for now, I mean, we've got a worldwide community of children who are just the best, and I could not imagine telling them, sorry guys, I'm not doing this. Even if I'm living out of a tent, it would be hard. I would be like, okay, it's worth it for you guys, because they are the best of the best in the world coming together. So it's humbling.
Is there room for an elementary school teacher?
That's what's missing. We have roughly 5th grade, 4th grade. Sometimes I can go as low as 4th, maybe even 3rd grade with what we do, but it's based on 6th grade earth science standards. And with homeschool students, some of the 3rd graders are equivalent to 7th or 8th or even 9th graders. Like, they've learned so much more from home than they would have in school. And so we can extend our numbers, our age groups back a little. But right now, predominantly our numbers, or our population, is 5th grade and above. Like, we do have adult students. We have some people who are in their 70s and 80s occasionally joining for our biological and our firmamental classes. So it's all ages in our upper level classes, just whoever's ready for it. We've had students as young as 4 join. So it's just like, you get less out of it when you're that young. So there is like an elementary aspect of it, where those parents have emailed me and they're like, well, it'll be 5 years before I can get in touch with you again, but hopefully you're still here. And so there is a large age group that we're missing, and it is that elementary school age group. It would be nice to have a slot or somebody to create something like similar to what we're doing for that age group, that's like a building block, so it can just build and build and build as they go, because they're hungry for it. And these parents are serious about giving their children a foundation that is 100% organic, non-GMO, biblical stuff. There's no worldly influences on it. It's all just filtered, and they put their trust in you. It's a big deal. I know that's one of the biggest things for me, is like, it's the most prestigious job I could have. There's no other title I could go out there in the world and feel like, oh, I'm doing something more prestigious because I'm a CEO of whatever. Like, there's nothing any greater than having parents trust you with their precious children. Like, I can't believe they do it, because I'm protective over my children. For me to go, here you go, here's an hour, spend this with this person, like, that's hard to do. And the fact that they're doing that for me is like, I do not take that for granted. So I'm glad that they are doing that, and their children respect us and are just so kind. It's definitely something that is a need in terms of the younger ones, because there's younger ones, they have younger siblings that are always peeking over trying to see what they're learning, and I'm like, man, I wish we had something for them, because they want that, they want that interaction, and they definitely, there is a need for that age group.
So maybe maybe in the future there might be a Skiba Keefe collaboration. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe that's what the
Yeah, that
Most
would be
High
awesome.
wants.
Yeah.
And I know how to do a puppet, so
Yeah.
that's one thing.
Well,
I do
I've already got
have.
my puppet somewhere.
I have a Muppet puppet, and we named it something weird. I can't remember what the name was.
I
But
don't remember.
And he's good at wearing costumes.
I was.
True.
Here's a fun fact. I was a professional mascot for a major or a minor league baseball team for like 2 years, and
Oh wow.
it's so much fun because nobody knows it's you. You can be whoever you
Yeah.
want to be. So it's
Yeah.
kind of, I guess that's what serial killers feel all the time.
Yeah.
They feel that in their own skin, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what I had fun with last year, because I felt led, since we were missing the elementary age, and I knew they had siblings that were that age. I did do some puppet videos where I interacted with a detective, Joseph Jacobson. That was his name, and man, it was fun. I was like, I wish I had more time and a better production, studio or something where I could do this stuff, because it's hard holding up a puppet in front of a green screen. Your arm's getting tired. You're scripting it, like, it's a lot of work. I'm like, these people that make children's videos do not get enough respect, because it's not easy. The green screen, the sounds, but it's rewarding when you hear them repeat what the video said, when it's like a punchline that's kind of funny, that to me is awesome. And it gets a dialogue back and forth. I'm not just teaching, I'm actually interacting. And so there's definitely a need for stuff like that, because the entertainment they're getting in the world is very entertaining, but it's very worldly. And I can't tell you how many times per day when our children are trying to watch videos that we have to go, turn that off. It's talking about space. It's talking about witchcraft. It's talking about dinosaurs. It's always talking about stuff, like the lies are always intertwined. And so it would be good to have just a playlist of these videos that they could watch where it's educational, entertaining, and biblical at the same time.
Well, I could definitely
Agreed.
help you make them entertaining.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what Rob was doing with like Seed and stuff,
Well,
like that was a big...
It's funny because one thing my mom would beg Lynsi to do was to do homeschool and to make my dad's work into elementary school work. So, I mean, I feel like there's so much there that we could work with. Like it's limitless.
Right. Like how to take like Babylon Rising and put it down to like a kid language. So
Yeah.
Or testing the globe,
or testing the globe or something
which
like
we
that.
just found part 2 that we're gonna publish here pretty soon. But,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
One day.
man, I just want to thank you for coming to TrutherCon and for talking to us here on Skiba News Nation. And you're always welcome here on the show, especially during our live streams. I think we might have Lucas come on the live stream.
Yeah.
Every Sunday, or not every Sunday, but this upcoming Sunday he'll be coming on as a guest, and maybe even you if you want to come on. You're
Okay,
always
yeah.
welcome. So
Awesome. Yeah, reach out to me. Let me know if you guys are having some sort of discussion where I could join the conversation. It was cool that Lucas was there, because he was the first conference host of any conference I'd ever been to and spoke at, and outside of teacher conferences and stuff. And so to have him there as a speaker was pretty cool, because I was like, wow, it's bringing flashbacks to where he hosted one, and then you hosted one and had him there, which is pretty cool because he was my first conference host.
well, and he said it was full circle for him, because the first conference he did, he wanted my dad there, but something happened to where it was not able to happen. But then our first conference, we wanted him to come, and that was pretty cool.
Oh man, that would have been too terrifying for me, because if your dad would have showed up while I was going to be a speaker there, I would have been too freaked out just from seeing him there and talking. Like, I wouldn't have been able to focus. I would have been talking, and I'd be like, I just want to ask him questions.
He would have liked you a lot. I know that for a fact. Like you guys would have been great buddies.
Yeah, I kept trying to have him. I tried to reach out to him a lot to get him to talk about the firmament with me, because of the stuff I was seeing and how it related to Enoch, and a lot of it was based on stuff that he had gotten me interested in, like the Book of Enoch and the Nephilim, and then that's where that led to some things that I saw with the firmament. And so, yeah, I always wanted to have those conversations with him, but he was so busy, and I respected that. I was like, I understand he is probably getting hundreds of emails a day and lots of hate and lots of criticism and lots of love and all these different things. So I knew, I was like, I'll just wait. I'll be patient. And so can't wait to see him and be thinking, have that reunion that we're all going to have with him, your mom, my mom, like all these people that we're missing right now. It's just going to be a blink of an eye. And you can see with the way things are going in the world, it's not going to be long before this resurrection happens. The deceptions are in place. Everything's ready for the false narrative. And then the real narrative is going to humble a lot of people when things that we've been preaching and that the Messiah preached and the stars falling and all that, like, we're not going to be having a debate once the stars start falling. They're going to be like, maybe I should have listened to these people. He said there was a firmament right there. They were repeating what Genesis said. Like, maybe that's why it's parting. Maybe that's why every eye is going to see the Messiah, the dead in Christ rising first, getting front row seats, getting to meet him first before we do. Like, that's bragging rights right there. I would love to. If something happens to me, like, don't be sad because I get front row tickets. I'm getting there first. They get to raise up first, and so that's kind of the reward for being a martyr. Even though the world takes them before our time, and it seems like that song, "Only the Good Die Young," is more of like a prophecy now that you see. The enemy likes to take the good ones, likes to take them when they're young.
Yeah.
So it's definitely maybe
true.
that's what that was about. Demonically inspired song, but it's becoming true because they like to take the good ones out. The ones that aren't a threat, let them prosper, let them live, let them teach their false teachings.
I will say when I started this channel, I would always say Skiba News Nation is my dad and my mom's legacy, but you also are too. That's how I see it. Like, everything about you is a part of, like, I could just see how he influenced you, and I appreciate that. Like, it's cool to see how many lives he touched, and my mom, because she was always behind the scenes. You would have never known that she contributed.
I know. I can tell. All my best ideas come from conversations I've had with my wife that I really wish she would do kind of like this and come out more and speak more, but she's always so busy, always, and such wisdom, like so much wisdom. There's such an effort in false teachings to silence women, and women are wise, and like there's so much more they know and see that we don't because they've experienced life differently. They have been given the gift of being able to make a life and bring with their bodies and stuff. So they have a different spiritual aspect and experiences that we can never relate to, but that comes with great wisdom. It also comes with a lot of challenges. And so silencing women is a big focus point of the enemy. And there's so many false teachings about that. And I think the most hate I've ever received in my life on YouTube wasn't about the flat earth, wasn't about other things I've talked about, but I had my brother come on and do a teaching about women being able to speak and talk. And I tell you, I had so many people going, this is where I draw the line. I'm unsubscribing. I'm leaving. I'm gone. I'm like, because we're saying women have the right.
See ya. That's what I would say.
They're like, we're gone. I'm like, it says that your sons and daughters will prophesy. And it's like, how can they prophesy if they're not talking? And they're like, they're supposed to be quiet around believers. I'm like, I'm a believer. Is my wife supposed to be quiet around me? She would never talk. She would never be able to talk to our children. Like, and so it's like, there's misunderstandings of like what Paul's letters were saying. When Paul says women are to be quiet, as the law says, he's not saying that the law says that. He's questioning people who are saying that, because you can go back to the law. It's not in the law. It's like the law never says women close your mouths, women shut up. Like, that was Paul questioning people. And so you bring to light things like that, and people, they get angry. I guess they feel like we're going to like have the women take over if they start talking, and they're just going to just get rid of all of us, which they could easily do any day. They don't, and we're thankful.
I think she did the channel better than I do. So it's a big thing having wise women speak and share stuff. Like, I wouldn't know half the things I know if my wife wasn't there, and I know listening and talking and praying with me, and Sheila the same way with Rob. Like, behind every good man, there's a better woman over there, and not getting credit. And moms don't get the credit they deserve ever, like until after they're gone, and then you're like, well, that's what we had. Like me, all of us siblings are like, we didn't really think we took her for granted, our mom, but as soon as she was gone, it's like we took her for granted, and we all realize that, and it's just too late. And that's the sad thing about moms. They've got that, you love them more than you realize, and moms are loved more than they realize, and it's not until it's too late that then you're like, man, do anything to go back in time. But especially like boys and their moms,
Yes, boys and moms specifically, it's the closest bond, I think, in all of creation. I don't know, something to it. The boys and the mom, like, it's a special bond. And like my daughter said when she was 3, don't be sad about Mama, because that's what she called her. She said one day soon God's going to raise her up, and that's the best piece I've had after losing her, was hearing those words and realizing this is a temporary little blink of an eye, and we're going to be together forever, and we're going to forget all the pain, all the suffering. Fountain of the waters of life, the living waters, getting our tears wiped away. I've had tastes of that with the Holy Spirit. I can't imagine what the full-blown outpouring is going to be like. It's going to be something that we can't even fathom. So I'm blessed to see that you guys are persevering and pushing on in spite of all the pain, the heartache that I know you're still carrying along as you go, but still pushing on in spite of that is an inspiration, because you want to shut down sometimes. You're like, man, they did all this work and I'm getting all this hate and I'm trying so hard and I'm still grieved, and like you guys still being young and as you are, but having that maturity is really admirable and impressive. So that's one of the things I was inspired by when you asked about the conference, that you guys were working so hard in spite of all the heartache and the stuff that you have, out of honor for what they would have wanted you to do. I think I would be so blessed if something happened to me and I found out, after the resurrection, that my children had gone and done like you guys are doing. I would be like, job well done. Like that's what I believe our Messiah will say when we all unite to you guys, like, well done. You've ran this good race, you fought really hard, and that crown being placed on your head. I know a lot of people are looking forward to those types of things, but the treasures in heaven, it's not about the physical stuff we're going to get when we get there. It's the job well done aspect, and I think that's what I really admire about you guys and the Skiba family and those involved too. There were so many involved: Jake and his wife, and Kristen, and
Kristen.
With 11 children, by the way. That blew my mind when I found that out.
I know. I'm surprised you had 6. I didn't know you had a lot of kids. We have 0, 3 cats, but
3 cats. And the best way to make somebody really angry is when they tell you about their children and you say, "Oh, I know, I have 3 cats," and they get so angry with me.
No, we had 2 cats, and that's harder than children. We had my son, who's 21, my second oldest, he's 21. My oldest is 26, but our 21-year-old, he's here now. He's about to be moving out. He's married, and we have a grandchild now, which is crazy to think. And he brought in another cat, and I thought, we already have 1 cat. What's another cat going to hurt? They're pretty easy to low maintenance, but now 2 cats.
You got the toxoplasmosis.
There's no automatic filter clean air thing that's going to make your job easier. Like, it's a lot of work, and
that's awesome.
It's harder than the children. I'm like, I'd rather change diapers a few times a day than do all this. Like,
yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and like I said, you're always welcome, and thank you for coming on Skiba News Nation.
Yeah, thank you guys. What a blessing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe, and also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Son of the legendary Rob Jeremiah Skiba.
It's like I don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.